All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today we're going to break down a really critical idea, a much more secure way to handle user credentials. And honestly, it's a security model that's become absolutely essential now that we're living in the age of AI agents. Okay, so let's just dive right in. Before we can even talk about the solution, we've got to get super clear on the problem, right? And it all starts with something that, well, pretty much every modern app out there is using: OAuth tokens.
So here's a question for you. When your app grabs a token to do something for a user, where does that token really go? I mean, you'd think it's just used for one quick, secure API call and then, poof, it's gone. But is that actually what happens?
Well, the reality is, it's usually a lot scarier than that. You see, in the traditional setup, the second your application code gets its hands on that token, it can start to leak. It can get accidentally dumped into log files or just hang out in the browser's memory, totally exposed. And worst case scenario, an attacker snags it and sends it straight to their own server. At that point, it's not in a secure vault anymore. Nope, it's out there in the wild.
So the danger here is pretty obvious, right? A developer, maybe they're just debugging and, oops, they console log a whole response, token and all. Or maybe there's a simple little cross-site scripting bug, an XSF vulnerability, that's all an attacker needs to just pluck that token right out of the browser. And look, we're not talking about small stuff here. These are critical failures, the kind that can lead straight to a full account takeover.
Okay, so that's the baseline problem, and it's already pretty bad. But now, let's throw AI agents into the mix. You're about to see how this already fragile situation just gets a whole lot more dangerous, like exponentially more dangerous.
Here's the thing you absolutely have to understand. An AI's prompt, it's basically a log file. I mean, think about it. These prompts often get stored, reviewed, analyzed, so if your agent's code messes up and sticks a user's token right into that prompt, well, you've just handed over the keys to the kingdom. You've just created this massive new attack surface where that token can be stolen.
So, how in the world do we fix this mess? You know, this isn't something you can just slap a patch on. We need a fundamental shift, a whole new way of thinking about how we handle credentials. And the solution? It's actually built around a really simple but incredibly powerful idea.
It's called the token non-exposure model. And honestly, the name says it all. The core principle is this: your application code, and especially your AI agent, should never, ever touch the raw token. Period. Instead, it asks for an action. Something like, hey, go get my Jira issues. And what does it get back? Just the data. Just that list of issues. That's it.
Yeah, this is the mantra. This is the whole idea in a nutshell. Apps and agents get data, not tokens. Think about it. Your app gets the result of what the token can do, but not the powerful token itself. It's like it doesn't need the key to the house. It just needs the groceries that were brought out from inside.
Okay, so that sounds great in theory, but how does it actually work? I mean, how can an app get anything done if it never even sees the token? Well, it all happens with a really clever setup: a secure vault and proxy flow.
So here's how it breaks down. Step 1. Your app or your agent requests an action. Now behind this super secure, hardened service boundary, we're calling it a locked zone, the vault goes and grabs the user's token from its encrypted storage. Step 2, it uses that token for that one single API call. And then, and this is key, it immediately throws it away, wipes it from memory. And finally, step 3, only the data, just the pure data from that API call gets sent back to your app. The token itself, it never, ever crosses that security line.
But what's really cool is that this model isn't just about plugging a security hole. It actually enables real governance, real control, way beyond what you can do with a traditional approach.
You know, we all tend to think of OAuth scopes as this security blanket, right? You give a token a right scope, and you think you're done. But here's the catch. Scopes only define the maximum possible power of a token. They don't give you any kind of fine-grained, context-aware control. Yeah, they're like a fence around a property, but there's no security guard at the gate.
This architecture, on the other hand, gives you actual guardrails. The vault becomes this central checkpoint. It makes a dynamic, intelligent decision on every single request. So what does that mean? It means even if a token technically has write permissions, you can set a policy that says, nope, this specific AI agent is only allowed to read data. And as a huge bonus, you get a perfect central audit log of every single action taken. Something that's, let's be honest, almost impossible to get right when tokens are just floating around all over your application code.
So the payoff here is just huge.
You get real runtime control to enforce your actual business rules. You get a complete, totally trustworthy audit trail for any compliance needs. And you end up with an incredibly strong posture for things like SOC 2 and GDPR, simply because you are minimizing data exposure by design. It's built right in.
Okay, let's bring it all home. Why is this specific architecture the key? Why is this the thing that's going to unlock the real power of AI inside of big companies?
Because here's the bottom line. To get real, game-changing value from AI, these agents need to do more than just chat. They need to actually do things. They need to take meaningful action, create reports, update records, manage projects. And this token non-exposure model, this is the security foundation that lets companies build and deploy those powerful agents with total confidence.
Now, I know what you're probably thinking. This sounds great, but it must take months to implement. And what's so amazing is, no, because this pattern leverages stuff you're probably already using, like API proxies. The actual effort to set up a new integration can be as little as just a few hours. I mean, think about that. It's a massive security win for a tiny, tiny investment of time.
And that really brings us to the one crucial question you have to ask yourself. If one of your AI agents got compromised today, right now, what's its blast radius? With this token non-exposure model, that damage is contained. It's limited. But without it, a single compromised agent could potentially expose everything. The choice? Well, it's becoming clearer and clearer every single day.